Hello, today I'm going to take you through a brief overview of the user management section of 7Pace Time Tracker's settings. So you can access 7Pace Time Tracker's user management under the settings page of Time Tracker or from Azure DevOps Organization Settings, Extensions, 7Pace Time Tracker / permissions. So you can see here that I've selected user management. And when I do, I can see this hyperlink here. So I'm going to click on the hyperlink. And then this brings you to our user management or permissions section. So you need to be a project collection administrator in Azure DevOps to assign any of your DevOps users the permissions and user roles that they require within 7Pace Time Tracker. So if you are a dedicated admin of a system, that administrator is no longer required to have an administrator role or license in Time Tracker, but they can still manage users. But something to keep in mind, you do need to be an Azure DevOps project collection admin in order to see this page. So before we get started, I'm just going to run through a few things, some general information to keep in mind when you're assigning your permissions or user roles to your team members. So the assignment of user roles determines the information and pages that are accessible to your users, and all users who have access to 7Pace Time Tracker can create work logs. So a work log is created anytime that you start tracking and then you stop tracking, and that can be via the downloadable Windows or Mac apps. It can be via the integrated web app that's found at the top of any page within 7Pace Time Tracker, or any time that you manually add time after the fact. So if a work log has been added by someone else on behalf of a user, so for example, by a manager for a developer, both the manager and the developer can edit that work log the first time. However, as soon as the developer makes any changes, it can be edited only by that developer going forward, except unless under settings, general rules, a specific role has been selected in the editing time dropdown that allows that role to edit other users' time. So, and if a user, let's just say here, you can see all the different types of roles because I've selected on this user here. You'll see that there's a none role. So a user assigned the none role has no access to 7Pace Time Tracker. So if you're using the DevOps server on-premise version of Time Tracker, users assigned to the none role will see the 7Pace Time Tracker tab, but they will only see this door is locked. They will see that message on any page within 7Pace Time Tracker. If you're using DevOps services for cloud, users set to the none role will not see the 7Pace Time Tracker tab or any 7Pace Time Tracker pages at all. And changes made on DevOps server or service's own time management field remaining time are not restricted by 7Pace Time Tracker, even if these fields are set to be under the control of 7Pace Time Tracker. So again, those are just some things to keep in mind before assigning your users roles. Okay, so here right now, when we navigated to this page, we're seeing users who are currently licensed. Okay, so clicking on a user, as I mentioned, shows their current role and a list of assignable roles here on the right-hand side of the page. You can click on multiple users, or you can click on select all and assign them to a new role all at once. So this is helpful if you have a larger team. Something also to keep in mind when you select a user in the left panel here. So if you're selecting this user, and then you click on a corresponding role on the right-hand side, the role that you assign to that user is applied automatically. So that's immediately effective without having to save anything, with the exception of the none role. So let me just see here. If I click on this person, and then I assign them to the none role, you're going to get that confirmation. Are you sure you want to remove rights for one user? I'm going to click cancel. Now, if you want to add new users or unlicensed users, what you do is you click on this blue Add Users button. And this causes a separate window to open and it displays unlicensed users. So if you select a role or multiple, you can then click on the Assign Role drop down here. And again, assign roles in bulk or individually. Something to note, you can also search by groups, but keep in mind that searching by a group will just expand and add the current members of a specific group that you may have created in DevOps, but it won't reflect any changes made to that group. So if you add or subtract users to a group that's been created, changes that you make going forward will not be applied. Okay. And to save your changes, you just click the blue Add Users button here at the bottom right of this pop-up window, and the window will close and the unassigned user should now display within the license mode. So let's try it out. So we'll highlight this user here, and we will give them the role of team, and then we will click on Add User. And there you go. They have now been added to this licensed users. And you can see here now that number has gone from 6 users currently licensed to 7. Now, you can also, as a project collection administrator, you can select the default role that is automatically assigned to new users of 7-Pace Timetracker. So from the default role drop down here, select the role that best suits the desired permission level for your default role. We have it set as team. So as team, a team role, this gives you access to the monthly page, the timesheet page, and the Times Explorer page, personal data only. So on the Times Explorer page with personal data only, you're only going to see your own work logs. If you have a higher permission level, when you go to the Times Explorer page, you will see all the work logs for your entire team. Okay, so let's just change this now. Let's say we want to set the default role to product. You'll see here the role was successfully changed. That message displays at the very top of the page, but I'm going to change it back to team. Okay, so just something also to note, all users assigned to the default role now or in the future will instantaneously inherit these new permissions.